Hi, this is Kitty Anderson again. I'm a board certified menopause coach. I am age 64 and I've been using HRT successfully for 14 years. I've been using the best HRT. Um, and I'll always tell you the best HRT is transdermal estradiol, no other product, right? Don't use CEE. Use progesterone, micronized oral progesterone will usually work, and use transdermal testosterone. It has 25 more benefits. You will feel fabulous on the other two. Then you add the testosterone in, and you get this boost of energy and you get your life back. And those three components are just key in trying to manage menopause and life after menopause. You really are doing this. It's a 40-year investment. You're going to live till you're 90. So you might as well make it awesome, make it fabulous, be fabulous, right? You want to be your pre-menopausal self. There is nothing about hormone deficiency and hormone loss that is natural. It is a really big issue for me. I get so many women saying, I've always done things naturally, and so therefore I'm going to do menopause naturally. Well, there's nothing natural about losing these essential hormones in your body any more than you would ignore a low thyroid hormone or a low insulin hormone. We don't ignore those. So let's not ignore it in menopause. We're still valuable members of society. We still have a lot to offer, and we're not going to be able to offer it if we don't get the help that we need. Now, our doctors are not so forthcoming. No, they're not. So I have some links to research in the YouTube description. Research is the language of your doctor. Your doctor only thinks research based. So if you hand over these types of documents, they're going to be really impressed with you that you're actually digging into research instead of the mythology around menopause, right? You're actually digging into the latest and greatest, and you're sharing it with them. You have a different conversation with your doctor. The amount of patriarchy in that relationship is reduced when you take on a role of learning, a role of being educated. When you take on that role, then the power differential changes and you become powerful in that meeting, in that appointment. And that's what I want for you. You still want their guidance, you still want to use their expertise, and you definitely want them to write the prescription. That's what you want. So, but you can tell them, I want this product, I want the best products, and I would like to dose up to a point where I feel resilient, where I feel high energy, where I want to get up every day, where I'm excited about life. That's what we want for you. That's why this channel exists, is to get women back into a position of power in their own lives and contributing to society. It's a big suck. We are losing people. By the year 2030, we're going to have 1.2 billion people in menopause in that later stage of life. 1.2 billion people who can be productive and happy and outgoing and empathetic and high energy. We can have that in our on our planet. We can have that, but we can't have it without the HRT. I'm sorry. We just can't. It's just not. You can't have vitality without these essential hormones going back into your body. So today, I would like to tell you a story that just really, I almost couldn't sleep last night because I ran into this friend and we went for a little smoothie and we had a very long conversation. So, this is a person who's 10 years younger than me. So, she's 54 and she's been struggling with menopause for 5 years. And I've been not coaching her, right? She hasn't come for official help. And that's part of her problem is that she has not come for official help. She has not had a guide through this process. She has wasted so much time on low dose products and she thinks she's doing the best that she can, but she's not devoting her day to it. So, it was so troublesome. I just wanted to scream. Well, I think you'll be proud of me because I didn't scream. So, as a coach, I'm kind of collected and I keep it together. And at the same time, I want to understand and make sure I'm reading the signals correctly. So, I'm in listening mode, right? And how are you doing? And how's it going? And she talked about a couple things. This is the part that shocked me. So I have met up with her, oh, probably once a year for 5 years, and she's always been pretty much a train wreck from perimenopause and menopause. She finally got some HRT. But the first thing she described to me is, oh, I went to dinner with some lady friends last night and they were all having hot flashes in front of me and sweating and complaining and fanning and doing all this type of activity. And we're kind of bonding over it, right? So we're not going to solve the problem. We're going to just bond over it. And I'm like, okay. So you do realize that every hot flash is brain damage, that you're standing there in front of your friends and you're watching them get brain damage and you're not speaking up about your HRT experience. And she said, well, it was not solicited. I really can't bring it up because it was not solicited. And I said, okay, 25% of women will have suicidal thoughts. Some will act on those suicidal thoughts. And she thought about it for a second and she just did not comprehend that it was her responsibility to tell her friends that she solved all of her hot flashes with low dose HRT. And the reason she didn't feel that she had to step up to the plate is because she's on low dose HRT. So I knew it. I was like, you're not active. You're not, you're not fully activated. So you're not at a good blood level of HRT. And I said, well, what is your product? And let's look it up. And so we found out that her blood level was maybe around 30 picograms per ml. And we also found out it was going up and down. It was a very slow release product. It took 8 hours to peak. So we could see that she was not stabilized on her HRT. We could see that the dose was too low for her to have high confidence, for her to have high contentment, for her to have high empathy. It wasn't there because that's from estradiol. And I really, really wanted to scream when she said, as she's like making herself busy on everything, on her phone and everything, she said that she was on a product that cost her $160 a month because of the patch not working. So instead of moving to a generic patch that costs $30 a month, she let her doctor put her on a gel product that costs $160 a month, and there is no generic for that gel. So she said to me, well, I won't do this forever. This is not a life-saving product. This is not important. This is not a life-saving product. And this is a person who read a couple books on HRT, but she doesn't have enough HRT in her body to make it click, to let her know this is the most important thing you're going to be doing. It gears your body up for all the other experiences that you do. It helps you with orientation in life. It helps you make good decisions. She was making poor decision after poor decision after poor decision. And just to hear from somebody who says, this is not life saving, well, you double your risk, more than double your risk for Alzheimer's with this instantly. Double your risk for cardiovascular disease, double your risk for diabetes, just instant. That's the way it happens. Boom. Double your risk for osteoporosis. Nothing replaces estradiol except estradiol, right? One thing that was really evident in the conversation as I'm listening, I'm hearing her say, well, I was using this HRT product, but I can't remember the name of it. I'll remember in a few minutes. I put it into my phone. And I'm kind of teasing right now, right? Because she's saying I can't remember things, right? She probably did that 4 times. So she couldn't remember her HRT product. She couldn't remember what her doctor said about her HRT. She couldn't remember when to go back to the doctor. She couldn't remember what too much HRT looks like. She lost all this information. All of this information was lost to her. And it's like, this is the core foundational thing that you're doing for your health. It's better, it's bigger than diet, it's bigger than exercise. It is the biggest thing that you can do. It makes diet and exercise possible. It makes it happen. So she just couldn't remember things, and she couldn't remember the words. So that's called word finding. So as a coach, if I hear that during a conversation, the estradiol's too low and they don't have testosterone, always guaranteed, your memory is dependent upon those hormones, and you need a deep enough sleep to clear the brain of toxins. So she's not getting a deep sleep, I can tell, and she's not able to remember things. So she's floating along in life, kind of punching the buttons. You know, you watch her on her phone and you watch her in life, and you're like, oh my God, she can't remember the key, important, fundamental things that will move her health forward. She can't stay focused on anything very long. I actually focus people in a conversation so that I can figure out what the main issues are. But her issues were so obvious. It was low hormones. Another thing we did was talked about testosterone. And while we were sitting there, I sent her my PowerPoint that is testosterone is important, and it's the 25 benefits of testosterone. And it is touching on every single center of your body, including your brain. And it makes you sociable, and it makes you motivated, and it makes you confident, and it makes you have the energy to fight your doctor for HRT. And that's what actually came out of that conversation. Is she said, I don't have the energy to work with my doctor and solve the HRT problem. And then she went on to tell me that she bled for 4 months on her HRT, but mostly because she was putting the patch on. The patch was not sticking for the full week, so she would have some endometrial buildup, and then the patch would not stick, and so that's an estrogen drop, and that will start a bleed. So she didn't have any cancer, she didn't have any fibroids, she didn't have anything. She was not using a good patch. She was using a bad product, and she did not problem solve it with the doctor. And the reason she didn't problem solve it is because she didn't have the HRT to boost her confidence and get the problem solved. So here she is on like year 5, and I'm still telling her what to do. And she still doesn't have the motivation to tell a friend who's having brain damage right in front of her. She will not tell a friend. And I'm like, okay, this is not the world we can live in. Ladies, we can't live in this world. We can't live in a world where we don't help each other. We can't live in a world where we say, oh, a little HRT is enough. It isn't. You have to have enough to carry you forward. There's another issue is she has been vegetarian for probably 15 or 20 years. And so I'm not really sure what kind of vegetarian she is. I have a feeling that she has been skimping on her food, right? So she doesn't necessarily have a balanced diet with every single nutrient group. She has some food phobias. She has some emotional feelings about food. She has a restrictive kind of personality. She's got a lot of OCD type of traits, and those are all heightened by low hormones. She can be a different person. She can be a helpful person if she would get her HRT at a high enough dose. So that's the magic that happens. It's the magic that happens, and we can do this for each other. A huge percentage, 60% of divorces happen in the United States when the woman is either perimenopausal or menopausal, so 40s and up. Think about that. What kind of a partner are you if you don't have empathy? What kind of a partner are you if you stop problem solving? What kind of a partner are you if you just kind of evade things? She did admit that she was on social media posting pictures of these little miniatures that she works on. So her hobby. So she's spending 20 hours a week on her hobby, but she could not problem solve the core foundational element of health called HRT. She could not do that. So that's what low hormones do. They paint you into a corner so that you can no longer solve your own problem. And what kind of a human being are you? What is our hope for the human race if women, with all of our wisdom, don't have the energy or the empathy to step up and help another woman? It just is frightening to me. I was so angry. And she texted me later because she felt so bad. I actually told her, I'm disappointed in you. You have knowledge, you have experience on HRT, you watched your friends having hot flashes and you did not speak up. I'm disappointed in you. I just told her that. And she texted me in the morning and said, well, it was unsolicited and I can't really step up and help others. That's not my job. She's going to spend 20 hours a week on social media posting little miniatures, ridiculous, fun, but she gets attention. It feeds the dopamine that's low because her HRT is low. Yes, you're going to end up with addictions. You're going to end up with high OCD. You're going to end up with lots of mental health issues. And you're not going to do anything about it. You're not going to do anything about it with low hormones. You have to have the hormones back. Then you can tackle those types of issues. They are foundational to hormone loss. You're going to see a spike in mental health issues. It is a massive number of women will have a new mental health diagnosis because your brain is washed in hormones. It is washed in those beautiful, lovely hormones. We want them. We want them. We want them. And if you get your HRT to a high enough dose, then try and go a couple weeks without it. You'll experience depression, you'll experience anxiety, you will experience higher OCD, you will experience triggers for your whatever previous addictions you had. All types of things, problems will come rushing back to you. They will rush back to you because they're hormone based. So there's nothing more natural than getting identical HRT, and we have that in FDA approved products from a conventional OBGYN. You're going in for an annual visit anyway. Make sure you get that HRT and get it quickly. It shapes your life. There is nothing better for you than this. There is no higher priority. No children problems rank higher than your health because this affects your ability to be a mother. We're in these patterns. We have these patterns and we let those patterns continue because of low hormones. You want to break out of those patterns and get into a new life. Breathe that new air. Everything's going to feel fresh and new. That's what I want for you. That's what I want for you. So anyway, I went to bed angry last night because this person just bailed on other women. And we don't want that type of world. What kind of world is it if we are not loving each other? What kind of a world is it if we are not sisters to each other? It's just flat and shallow and just not worth it. It's not worth it. The best of womankind is in our hormones. The best of womankind is absolutely in our hormones. It is what makes us great. So put those hormones back. There's links to research below. There's links to things you can copy and paste and put into an email to your doctor. If you have an HRT resistant doctor, we can convert them. It's pretty easy. They like research, so we funnel the research their way. It's pretty simple. Anyway, hope you're doing well. See you later and share these videos. Make sure you help your sisters. They're out there and they're really suffering. It's sad.